nation I desired. Before the decree go forth and Yah bringing his fire. Seek Yahweh, seek meekness. Walk in humility, not weakness. Yah's teaching us his ways to be higher. Learning truth, no more subject to the liars. Submit to Yah, the only way he'll unite us. Yah's way is holy, true judgment, and he righteous. We can't front on Yah, not even in the slightest. Sons of be loud, be faking like they like us. But Yah gave us all to our heart's desires. He'll cut you off for spreading hate like a virus. So turn to Yah, he is torn as he will bind us. He is smited and he will heal us. After 2 days, yeah, he will revive us. In the 3rd day, in his sight, we will rise up. Let's go.
1 minute until showtime.
Gather together, O nation I desire. Before the decree go forth and Yah bringing his fire. Seek Yahweh, seek meekness. Do his judgments, walk in righteousness. Learn Yah's path, he will lighten it. While we fighting this, we the same blood, have the same Ima and the same Abba. We all are slaves, live the same drama. My people, we be true brethren. 400 years have we learned a lesson. How good and pleasant if we dwell together. Yeah, 2 is better, 3 is hardly broken, and millions live forever. The enemy
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
To you, my Yah, do I lift up my soul. And trusting you, he always kept me whole. And left my enemies deep in their holes. Let none that wait on Yahweh be ashamed. Put shame on those who sin without a cause. Show me your ways, please teach me your laws. Oh Elohim of my salvation, I'm staying down and patient. As a child, all the while I'm waiting. Remember not the sins of my youth. Lead me in your truth, and he'll give your soul ease. The earth shall remain inherited by a seed. The secret of Yah's way who fears Elohim, a fool believes everything, and to every word spoken, you can't take heed unless you hear somebody curse. You know you did the same thing. That's why I'm begging Yah for mercy and his love and kindness, cause I know that I ain't worthy. Captivity is taking hold upon me. For frighten me and now we flee from fallen leaves. The grinding grief from all the blood our people seen. And now we cry, where is the word from Elohim? And so we figure we all as wise to be submissive, but we dismiss it. It is of this reason we have fallen victim to the lies that your root will pray and pursue. Rebellious of the son, forgotten that he is one. Broken the holy ordinance, rejection of reproof. Then acknowledge what we do. Now we return back to the truth.
Yah's word is the truth. Yah's decrees is the proof. Local 12 just released the scoop. It's the summer of Sam. They calling it Pam. Made us worship the son of man. And somehow that the moon, they stole our style and gave it to Rothschild. Now we exalt the vow, but hit the turnstile. Yah's Navi set the crooked things straight. Praise Yah from the rising to the evening to the closing the gate. Exposing the fake. Yah give the truth a day break. Now the liars can't escape and the haters can't relate to the light that truth makes. See the wicked's pride deflate. Ye adore Yah, magnify Yah couldn't grace.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. And please let Yahweh be magnified. It is me, Mowreh Napthtali Israel, coming before you today on Nothing But the Truth at 1907 Vine Street to bring you nothing but the truth, to speak the words of Yah. And it's truly a blessing, privilege, and a pleasure. And speaking the words of Yah, who is this Yah? Yahweh is the creator of the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that therein is. He's the only one who has declared to be the creator of the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that therein is. He's the only one. There is no other God on earth that even claims to be a God that declares to be the creator of everything, good and evil, light and darkness. So that's who I'm speaking for today, as one of his servants and as one of his sons. Praise the mighty Yah. And it's been truly a blessed week to listen to the messages that's coming forth from the sanctuary this week. And it's been a blessing every week. But this week in particular, it's been for myself, listening in, seeking the truth, and being inspired by the words of the Most High. It has been truly a delight. And I don't know if you all have noticed or seen or even understood what I've noticed, seen, and understood. And what Mowreh IshYAH has been teaching on this week is about cultural identity. And this is no foreign language. These are no crafty, special kind of words. We all know that cultural identity is real. You won't see the word cultural identity in the scriptures, but we don't have to play with words. We know cultural identity is real. All nations have a culture that identifies who they are. And all these cultures are different. And of course, we, the so-called African American blacks in America, and spread it abroad through the four corners of the earth, we also have a culture identity. And ours, as everybody else's, is different from one another. But the difference between our culture identity is that our culture is exclusively made and formed by Yahweh himself. Now, when you look at other cultures, I don't know how they become to dress the way they dress, look the way they look, dance the way they dance. But I know for sure and of a certainty that the culture of the nation of Israel, which is the so-called African Americans, and spread it abroad through the four corners of the earth, has a culture directly from Yah. And it's a twofold culture. It's two cultures that we live in that identify us. And let me tell you what they are. We as a people have a culture of being blessed by the Most High, and we have a culture of being cursed by the Most High. And once you understand what I'm telling you, you understand how important the message that has come across this mic and this podium this week. It's been the most important, most vital subject that we can ever deal with. This subject is so deep that me as a man, I'm not even really worthy to even speak on this subject. I'm not even worthy to speak on this subject. That's how deep and powerful that this subject and message is. And it's so important that we know and look at our people and identify with the culture that we display and that we live in. One thing about our people, when you look at us, when you identify with us, one thing you will know when you're dealing with us is that we are a broken family. We're a dysfunctional family. We're a dysfunctional household. And if you've been listening and learning this week, you will know that when the Most High tells us in the book of Jeremiah 29, and that's what this whole message this week has been about. Jeremiah 29, verse 5. When the Most High told us in the land of our captivity and speaking to the man that he should build a house, dwell in it, plant a vineyard, a garden, and eat the fruit of it. Take a wife, beget sons and daughters. Take daughters to your sons and give your daughters to sons. And then at the end of it all, seek the peace of the city. And this is what the message has been about. And all these things that Yahweh told us encompass what a family is all about. When the Most High said, build ye houses, and you look throughout the scriptures, the Most High is talking about family. Even today, in today's time, somebody asks you how many people in your household. In other words, how many individuals is in your family? And when you look at our family, the nation of Israel, we are a dysfunctional family. We are a broken family. And this is the most worst, most evilest thing in the earth, that the state that we're in. But it's our culture today. This is how you identify with the nation of Israel. All you got to do is look at the curses. Go to the book of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. And excuse us for the technical difficulties we having on Blog Talk, radio. If you're having too many difficulties, try to tune in on Facebook or go on YouTube, HOY Cincinnati on YouTube. But we're going to try to get that together as soon as possible. Hallelujah. But if you go to the book of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, and I don't want to tarry too long on this part of the message, but you have to see that your culture is your ID. As Mowreh IshYAH has been showing that a cultural ID, your culture is your ID. This is how you identify who the people are, who you are. And when you look at the blessings and the curses, then you can identify exactly who Yahweh's people is. And if you go to the book of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, and I'm going to start at verse 1 so you can see what the Most High says about the nation of Israel and their culture. And like I said, Yahweh is the one that makes the culture of his people. He decides on how we look, talk, walk, dress, down to how you wear your beard, how you wear your hair, how do you eat. Everything about us, he's decided. And it's the most beautifulest thing that you can never live yourself in, attach yourself to. Because who have a more beautiful mind than Yahweh himself? You can't get no better than his thoughts. So how he want us to look, walk, talk, dress, eat, that's the way we should. Because anything less really is just an abomination. Anything less is not good. But this is what the Most High says. For behold, Isaiah the 3rd chapter, the 1st verse. For behold, Yahweh, behold Yahweh, Yahweh of hosts, does take away from Jerusalem and from Yehudah the stay and the staff. And Jerusalem, for those that don't know, and Yehudah, these are the names that the Most High called the children of Israel. He says the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, because once you take the bread, the food, and the water, like Mowreh IshYAH brought out, once you control the food and the water, you control everything. And a discombobulated people that throw their whole system off, that cause them to be totally dysfunctional, all you have to do is take away the bread and the water. The Most High said, I'm about to curse these people because they refuse to see the big picture of the reason I even put them on this earth. They refuse to see it. Not only they refuse to see it, they refuse to achieve their purpose. The mighty man, the man of war, the judge, the prophet, the prudent, and the ancient, the captain of 50, honorable man, counselor, Most High taking all this out, the cunning artificer, the eloquent orator, and I will give the children to be, I will give children to be their princes. I'm going to make the little kids be over these adults. I'm going to make the little kids smart. The kids is going to be your princes. Babes shall rule over thee. This is what's going to happen to the nation of Israel. This is what is happening to the nation of Israel. Babes is ruling. They have no control over the children. The people shall be oppressed. Just look at the nation of Israel. They are oppressed, everyone by another. Look into our communities. We oppress one another. We sell drugs to one another. We steal from one another. We kill one another. You can't, if you live in a populated urban black community, if you're getting any kind of money, you got to keep it on the down low. Because if you try to come through stunting and showing the fruits of your labors, you're going to have somebody trying to get you. Because this is the curse that's in our community. Everyone oppressed by another, everyone by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient and the base against the honorable. You got just the lowest scum, he will just lift his chest up against the honorable man. As if the honorable man ain't nothing, and he is the honorable man. But he's the crackhead living on the streets with his pants hanging down to his knees, and you can see his butt as he walking down the streets. But he would puff his chest up to a man that's honorable, taking care of his business, taking care of his children and his household, and treat him as if, man, you ain't nothing. You a lame. Oh, that's a lame? Because I'm responsible? This is the child behave himself proudly against the ancient. What kind of community, what kind of people? If you go to China, you go to the white neighborhood, you go anywhere on earth. And of course you see it everywhere. But when you get to our community, it's an epidemic. Where the children behave themselves wisely, proudly against ancient, and abase against the honorable. It says, when a man shall take hold of his brother, of his house father, of the house of his father, saying, thou hast clothing. And watch this. Let's skip down so you can get this understanding. Most High says in the 9th verse, Isaiah 3:9, the show of their countenance does witness against them. Just look at them. Just the way they looking is a witness that they cursed. You drive down the street in the community, you know this is a curse. What kind of community do people live in the community and they just throw trash everywhere? And it's just, you don't have to look for the discombobulation. It's out on Front Street. And they declare their sin in Sodom. They hide it not. They not trying to hide these sins. They ain't even trying to hide their butt or their breasts, let alone their sins. They ain't trying to hide nothing. It's out on Front Street. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. But woe to the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. Now watch this in the 12th verse. Isaiah 3:12. As for my people, and who is Yah's people? The children of Israel. And you will find and learn that if you haven't learned this yet, you just now tuning in and trying to search for the truth. Yes, when Yahweh says my people, he's talking about a specific people, the children of Israel, the people that looks exactly the way he's talking about. He said, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. These children is the ones oppressing the communities, down in the communities, got these communities all tore up. The old man don't even want to go out there and try to get the streets together no more, because he go back home bruised up and beat up. The kids that out in our communities will beat up an old man, send him running home. Old man he live in a community, he got to come out with a gun. So they ruling, but guess who rule over them? The women. Now all you got to do, this is a cultural ID. All you got to do is look, what people on earth has so many broken homes that you can just walk down the street and ask a black man, when you grew up, what kind of home did you grow up in? Was your father there? No, my mom. That's 90% of your black man, if not 90, is close to it, grew up in a home where their mother raised them. Even if the father was in their life, he was in their life with restrictions. He was in their life on the weekends. He was in their life in the summertime. But majority, they grew up in the house with their mothers. And their mother had to be the one in the majority to teach them how to be a man. And now you can understand why the men is running around like they are today. Not acting like men. Maybe they acting more like women. But I don't think they acting like women either. They acting like beasts. That's what they acting like. Out of control. But the Most High says, for my people, children are their oppressors. Women rule over them. O my people, they which led thee caused thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And so this is a cultural ID. This is how it looks when Yahweh curses his people. And you can just look out on the streets and see it. Go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. And like I said, this subject, though, is more deep than you probably understand. When the Most High said, build ye houses, talking to the man, you got to build a house, plant a garden, take this wife, beget sons and daughters. Take daughters to your sons and give your daughters 2 sons and seek the peace of the city. This recipe, this program that Yahweh told us about in Jeremiah 29:5 is a recipe to fulfill our greatest purpose on earth. The whole reason Yahweh even put us on this planet is that Jeremiah 29:5. And if we don't get a grips and realize how important it is and how it's a priority, we got a major curse coming. And we already cursed already because we failed at this mission. In Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, what does it say? I just want to read this verse first because there's a couple verses in here I want to read. But look at verse 45. Deuteronomy 28, verse 45. He says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee, which means follow you. You can't run from these curses. I know you think you're free today and you can get on a plane and go to Africa and go to Zimbabwe and go to India, or Indonesia, wherever you think you want to go. Well, these curses is going to overtake you and pursue you. You can go to Canada and think that's the promised land, Europe and some island in the middle of the woods. No, the Most High said, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and they're going to pursue you. Overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not to the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to keep his commandments, his statutes, which he command thee. And watch this. They shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever. Yes, because this is our cultural ID. What you think a sign is? It's something that's identifying something. It's signaling something like, yes, here you go. This is the sign. And these signs is upon us to let us know who we are. We are Yahweh's people. And that's why you will only see these curses upon us. When you go to the black community, and these is not exact statistics, but you go to the black community, almost 90% is broken homes. But then you go to the Chinese community, almost 90% is not broken homes. Most of their children is raised up with their father and their mother. They had a luxury of being able to get all the way to 20 years old with their father and mother and go off to college and kiss father and mother at the same time. But us, in our community, we don't have that luxury. Our father is either dead or in jail, or he's just in a whole nother city or state, or he's just in a whole nother house, or we just don't know where yet. And that's just the majority of us. So do you see the flip side of the coin? Why is that like that for us? I know some people say, man, we just a trifling people. We just ignorant people. We just this and that. No, you think you know the answers, but the Most High said, no, this is just a curse. Ain't no way you can just have a phenomenon epidemic like this unless it was a curse. Most High said these things is going to follow you, pursue thee, and overtake thee. They shall be for signs and wonders upon thee. And he says in the 47th verse, because thou serve not Yahweh, your Elohim. with joyfulness, with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. And yes, we're not serving the Most High. We're not fulfilling his ultimate mission for us, which is Yahweh's chiefest desire, his chiefest joy. That's why when the Most High told us in Jeremiah 29, Mowreh IshYAH brought it out and said, listen, Yahweh could have said anything. He could have said anything. When you get to this land of your captivity, build your credit. When you get to this land of captivity, build this, build that. But the Most High don't want that to be your focus. Yahweh want your family to be your focus. And not just in captivity. You're going to learn that this has been the focus ever since Yahweh put Adam on the planet. Why do you think the Most High told Adam, the Most High was talking to the angels and said, listen, we don't have a man to till the earth. Let's create this a man so he can till this earth and keep the garden. And then he said, it's not good that he should be alone. Let me make him a wife or help me and make them one. But when he first created man, he said, listen, I bless man to be fruitful and multiply. And then he made man, Adam and Eve, one. And the Most High said, why did I make them one? Because I'm seeking an Elohimly seed. And for me to have an Elohimly seed, Adam has to build a house. He has to have a garden to take care of. He has to have a wife. He has to beget children. He has to give daughters to his sons. And he has to give his daughters 2 sons. This has to happen for me to get what I'm looking for. And that's an Elohimly seed. And there is no greater purpose in this earth than that. Just a couple more verses in Deuteronomy 28. Go to the 20th verse. Look what it says. So you can see the culture ID of our people. Isaiah 28 verse 20 says, Yahweh will send upon thee cursing. This is what you got to know about Yah. He said, if you don't hearken to my voice, if you don't keep my laws, commandments, and statutes and judgments, if you don't be my people that I intended you to be, which if you do be these people, I'm going to bless you. You'll read that in the beginning of this chapter. But when you get to down, he starts telling you how he will curse you. And we living in a culture of these curses today. He says, Yah will send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke. And there is nobody more cursed than us. There is nobody more vexed and just peed off than us. And there's nobody more rebuked than us. We the most rebuked people. People just love to rebuke us. It's like people that like to go hunt and kill. Then you got people that just love to rebuke the people of the Most High. Whether they know it's the people of the Most High or not, for some reason, they got something in them that makes them love rebuking us. All you got to do is ask Michael Jordan how he was rebuked coming up in the NBA. From college all the way to the NBA. Ask him his stories of how he was rebuked. All you got to do is ask Serena Williams and let her write a book about her experiences and how she was just rebuked. Not for doing nothing. She was just black and playing a sport. But like Yahweh said, these curses is going to follow you. Because while you playing sports and doing this and doing that, you ain't doing nothing of me. You ain't acknowledging me, and I'm putting these curses on you, and you still don't acknowledge me. Ask Serena Williams how she got rebuked. Ask Tiger Woods how he done experienced rebuke. Ask the black men that play in the most racist sport in the world, which is the sport of soccer. They call it football. Football is the most racist sport in the earth. And I think it's the biggest sport. But the blacks in this sport are being rebuked so bad. They crying on the sidelines during the games. The fans are literally sneaking bananas into the arena and throwing them on the field. The players are picking out these black men and kicking them on purpose as they running, calling them niggas and monkeys, and scratching their underarms and eating bananas and throwing the pills at them. Why is this happening to us? And you can't run from this rebuke. You can't run from this vexation. You can't run from these curses. In other words, you can't run from your culture. This culture is given to us by Yah. Look what it says even further. He says, I will send cursing and vexation and rebuke upon you, and all that thou settest thy hand unto for to do. It don't matter what you set your hand to do. As long as you keep forgetting about me, you're going to experience these experiences. I don't care how much money you get. Ask Bill Cosby. You can set your hand to be with the people you want to be with. You want to be a movie actor, you want to be a movie star, you want to be an NBA player, and you want to get into these places and tables and sit at these chairs and set your hand to do that. You can, but you're going to be vexed because of how they're going to treat you. They're going to rebuke you, and you're going to feel the curses upon you. It don't matter how much money you have. Ask Oprah how she's been rebuked. Ask LeBron James how he's been rebuked. And if they get rebuked, and these are stars, these are stars with millions of dollars, bringing their oppressor, or not their oppressor, but their boss, millions of dollars. They just doing all kind of good stuff and still rebuke. So imagine what they're going to do to a poor man that look just like him. But it's not them, people. This is not them doing it. Yahweh said, I'm going to put these curses upon you. So it ain't for us to start being racist and say, hey, man, you know. No, we got to look in the mirror and say, my goodness, Yahweh is doing this. Whatever you set your hand to do until thou be destroyed and until thou perish quickly. Look at also the 25th verse. Deuteronomy 28 verse 25. Yahweh shall cause thee to be smitten before your enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And you see our people try to get riled up. And they go out one way. Everybody in the same line, walking in one direction. And then next thing you know, they scattering 7 ways like roaches. And mice and rats and everything else. They just scattering. But you came in strong, one way, united. But the Most High said that's nothing what you're doing. You think you're doing something by getting in the streets and revolting and rioting and walking down the street against your enemies. You a cursed people. Did you not know you was cursed? Therefore you have no strength. You have no power. You can't do nothing. It's not that everybody wants the white man this and this man that. It ain't about the white man and this man and that man. It ain't them that's cursed you, O Israel. Yahweh has cursed you. It's not them that's rebuked you, O Israel. Yahweh has rebuked you. It's not them that has vexed you, O Israel. It's Yah that has vexed you. And why? Because we have rebuked Yah. We have vexed the Most High. We vexed him. And instead of us blessing the Most High, fulfilling his desire, showing him appreciation and thanks, and loving him, we curse him. We curse him. We spit on him. We say forget him. We turn our backs to him. And this is why our culture looks the way it looks when you look outside today. No matter what state you go to, no matter what country you go to our communities, they look the same. Just like this, if you look at, we was in verse 25. Look what it says in verse 28. Yahweh shall smite thee with madness, blindness, and astonishment of heart. And yes, we are mad people. We so mad that we can't even look and see how terrible our situation is. And some of our people see it, but they so mad and gone, they don't know what to do about it. But point their finger or try to separate themselves. But you can't separate yourself. It's impossible. You're still one of us. You still rebuked and cursed just like us. You just might look a little more classier and richer while you being vexed and cursed. In astonishment of heart, and yes, we astonished. There is nobody that's more astonished of heart as the people of Yahweh, the children of Israel, the congregation of Israel, the house of Israel. This is all the same. The family of Israel, the nation of Israel, the house of Israel. This house that the Most High said in Jeremiah 29 to the man that you need to build this house. This is what you're supposed to do. Build it. And what's a house without a garden? How you got a house without a garden? You mean to tell me you got a house sitting on land and you don't even have a garden? And if you got a house and a garden, how you got a house, a garden, and don't even have a wife? What kind of sense that make? And if you got a house, a garden, and a wife, but you don't have no sons and daughters, what kind of sense does that make? And if you got a house, a garden, a wife, sons and daughters, and you're not seeking a piece of the city, what kind of sense does that make? You done did all this building and then did all and brought forth all this fruit and labor and don't even seek the peace of the city? Now you jeopardizing everything. You jeopardizing your house, your garden, your wife, and your sons because you refuse to seek the peace and be righteous. The Most High, his people, the house of Israel, the congregation of Israel, the nation of Israel. Let me finish where I left off before I keep going to left field on this. Astonishment of heart is where I was at. This is one of the curses. And our people are the most astonished hearted people on earth. Because you know why? We cannot believe how we done furnished the tables of our people that we look at as friends. But when you look at your treatment, it's an enemy. But you furnish their tables. You build their houses. You fight in their wars. You entertain them or make them laugh. You say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And you even, when it just look impossible, you still rise up to some kind of stature and make millions for yourself and make billions for them, and you still looking like, my goodness, I thought we was past this. I'm astonished that this is happening. I thought we was cool. At this point in life, this time of the year, I thought we was good now. But no, these curses are still following you. All the way from 390 some years ago, when you first arrived to the shores of this country. And these same curses has followed you all the way to 2017. And I know you thought things was going to change by now. But no. Be astonished that it hasn't changed. Matter of fact, it has changed. But you thought it was for the better. But really, it's worse. Our communities is, I know people think it's better because they got something and they live in this and that and got this and that and doing this and that. But the state of your people is in a worse state than any people on the face of the earth has ever been in. You ain't never seen a people in a condition, situation, in a state that our people are in. And it's our fault. And then particularly, it's the man's fault. It's the man's fault. Let me show you this, and then we're going to get out of these curses. Go to 34. Most High says, listen, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. Like he said, I'm going to smite you with madness. And the reason you're going to be mad is because of the sight of your eyes that you shall see. And when you see your brothers and sisters getting shot in cold murder blood for nothing, that's going to make you mad. Walking home from the corner store, just doing his own normal business, 16, 17, shot by a man that ain't even nobody, that's going to make you mad. And we can write a book. We can write 1,000 books and volumes on all these things that makes us mad. And guess what? It's a curse. That's what Yahweh is letting you know. And these curses let you know who you are. You are the people of the Most High. This is your cultural ID. He says further, Deuteronomy 37, thou shalt become an astonishment, because you astonished at heart, but you are an astonishment because the other nations is looking at you like, my goodness, what has happened to these people? How can a people be so lost, gone, dumb, just down? Just how can this even be? I can see if another nation was doing it to them, but they doing it to themselves. And of course, we know system and laws and rules set up against you, but we still oppress one another. We still would cheat and kill one another. The laws ain't making us kill one another. The laws ain't making you steal from your brother. You would think that is the system set up against you that you was trying to get closer with your brother. So we got to make something happen and do something. But no, the other people, the Most High said, you're going to become an astonishment. Not only astonishment, but a proverb. We're a proverb now. A byword. We're not even a people. We're just a proverb and a byword. Among all nations where the Yahweh shall lead thee. You're not even a people. You don't even, we don't even have a real name to our nationality. Yeah, they just black. That's black. This some black people. Well, they got afros though. Well, they Afro black. They Afro black. That's who they is. Nah, but they are from America too. Well, they Afro black American or something like that. That's what they is. But they from Africa though, ain't they? Well, they African American black. They black. This is we just some proverb, byword, and astonishment at the end of the day. That's how we are to the nations. It ain't, oh, these are the Egyptians. These are the Ethiopians. These are the Chinese. These are the Japanese. These are the Europeans. These are the Russians. These are this and that, the Indians. That they know the land they come from, their culture. But these blacks, African black, Afro-centric, Panther, I don't know. It's just bywords, niggas. I don't know what they are. They don't know what they are. Astonishment, proverb, byword among all nations. 43, the Most High said, listen, and I'm going to just get out of these curses because I really want to get to what the Most High says and feels about all of this. And why this thing about Jeremiah 29 and the mission that Yahweh gave man and told him this is his mission in captivity. And how important that is. And what does this has to do with it, though? This has to do with it because this is the condition of our house at the current state. Most High said, build your houses, plant gardens, and take wives, and that's our cultural identity. That's how we're supposed to be as a people. But you look at us now as a people, we all screwed up. We'll have a house with a bunch of land and it won't even have a garden. We'll have a house, a bunch of money, and a bunch of land, won't even have a wife. A house, a bunch of land, no garden, no wife, no children. Look at Oprah. And a lot of our people. But look at this. The Most High said about the nation of Israel. This is how you can identify us. The stranger that is within thee. What's a stranger? A foreigner. Somebody that's ain't been there when you was there. You've been there before him. Who's the stranger coming in, man? This stranger, man. We've been here. We don't know this guy. This is a stranger. But he said, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And what do this mean? All you got to do is look at the black community and you'll see what it means. Do you think the black men and women in their community own the corner stores? No, strangers do. Do you think they own the hair salon, the hair stores? No, strangers do. Do you think that they own the clothing stores that's charging them $1,000 for jeans? No, the strangers do. The gas stations, the cell phone spots, I don't care where you go in the country. If you can find a black man that own one of these kind of stores in his own community, it's like a needle in a haystack. The strangers own the businesses in our community, and they making millions off of us. You got chicken spots, and our people love chicken. But for some reason, we can't even own a chicken spot in the black community. And I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. And right now, one of the most boomingest chicken spots in a black neighborhood here is Hook Fish and Chicken. And I done ate there before, unfortunately. But every time I did, I swear to y'all, every time I did, I was mad. Because the chicken was good, and I was just looking at my people walk in and out them doors like flies around a garbage can. And it was some strangers serving us. Not one black man in there at all. Some Egyptians or Arabs or something like that. I don't know what nation they are, but they wasn't Israelites. They wasn't black at all. And we just making them rich. You got another spot called Richie's, a chicken spot right in the hood in the black community. You think black people own that? No. We can't even own a chicken spot in our own community. Our women out here wearing all this weave, they only own the stores they get the weave from. Ain't no sister owning them stores. Chinese own them. They want to get their nails done. Sisters ain't owning them shops. Chinese own them. Some kind of stranger that ain't been here since you was here. It used to be a day where it was just white and black people. White, black people, and Indians. Now you got all these cultures that done flooded in, and they done got up high. And the black people just, every generation, every year, some of them get high, but when you look at the communities that they come from, look at the community that LeBron come from, Jordan come from, Oprah come from, Obama come from, and all these, look at the communities they come from. These communities once used to be black thriving, black banks, black barbershops, black this, black, all kind of black businesses and stuff. But no, not no more. It's over. Deuteronomy 43 is where I left off. Deuteronomy 28 verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. Thou shalt come down very low. And then he said, and he gonna lend to thee. They got lending companies in these communities where you can borrow your whole check ahead of time, and then you gotta pay it back with interest the next week. And it's a revolving door. He will lend to thee. Thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Now all you gotta do is go to a Chinese community and see if you got a bunch of black-owned businesses and Chinese man just sitting there mad as hell, look and spending their money with the black man. No. Go to a white community. See if they got a bunch of businesses and they sitting there mad as all get out because they spend their money with a black man. No. You don't see this in no communities. But you go to our community, the people of Yah, everybody own businesses except us. It don't matter if they're Chinese, European, Arab, Egyptian, even some of the African nations, they black, but they ain't Israel. Let an Israelite black man that's born and raised in America set up in one of these stores and sell CDs and tapes and that he done burnt off of and commit piracy. Let him do it. Or they been shut the block down. But let an African man that paid his way over here, he set up there and make a whole bunch of money. For some reason, it just seems like we singled out. We cursed. And that's just what it is. And we can't blame nobody else. We just have to look in the mirror and look at ourselves and say, man, why is this happening to us? Why is this happening to us? And so, what does the Most High say and feel about all of this? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. There's nothing more important to the Most High than his people. The Most High has no greater joy in the universe. This is a fact than his people. His family. There is no greater thing to the Most High. But we seem to be in a very, not seem, it's just, it ain't a seem, it's just the truth. We're in a very dark situation. Go to the book of Isaiah 54. Look what the Most High says. And now I just want to show you, even though this is our culture today, we are robbed and spoiled people. And yes, other people are robbing us, overcharging us, spoiling us, just taking full advantage of us because they see the situation we're in. And now we just have no strength and hopeless and they can come up and set a business in our community and just feed off of us. And we have no power to do nothing about it. We destroyed as a people. And but the Most High, even though this is our situation, he still loves his people. He just wants us to wake up. He wants us to see the truth, see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I praise Yah that I'm seeing the light throughout all this darkness. But look what the Most High says. Isaiah 54, verse 1. Sing, O barren. And yes, it's singing time. I'm telling you right now, even as dark as it is, I'm telling you, it's time to start singing. It's time to start singing praise and glory to the Most High. Because if you knew how Yahweh really felt about his people, if you knew what Yahweh planned to do with his people, the ones that's the lowest in the earth, the ones that's vexed, mad, and rebuked, and just got sign of curse upon them, if you only knew what's coming through the door for these people, you would be singing. And not only Israel would be singing, all nations of the earth is going to sing. And I'm going to show you why. But sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, says Yah. Yes, these people that just wasn't in a good situation, just wasn't barren, just their houses just wasn't being built, just a destroyed people. But watch this. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thy habitation. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left. This is what is going to happen. You're just going to break forth, and y'all is about to bless your tents. What you thought was your land, it's going to be bigger than what you even thought. He says, listen, you're going to break forth on the right hand and the left. Your seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Even places desolate today, deserts today, it's going to be inhabited. The Gentiles will be your possession. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed. I know you're ashamed now. You should be. But don't fear, because this is not going on forever, people. This is a time and a season. He said, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of your youth. Yeah, you're going to forget the beginning of these times. Thou shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore. And yes, we as a people are widow. Nobody wants nothing to do with us. Nobody wants to love us. We don't even love ourselves. But this widowhood is just a sorrowful place. It's a shameful place. It's this. But look at what the Most High said in verse 5. You don't have to remember this reproach no more, for thy maker is thine husband. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Your Redeemer, your Savior, the Holy One of Israel. The Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called. Yes, and the Most High Yahweh he's going to be called the Elohim of the whole earth one day. Even though he is the creator of the whole earth. But he's up till now only been the Elohim of Israel. But it's going to be a day where he's going to be the Elohim to everybody. This is why everybody needs to start singing. Everybody needs to start singing. For Yahweh have called thee as a woman. Talking about his people. Forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth. This is who these people are to Yah. A wife of youth. When thou was refused and rebuked, says Yah, for a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. This has just been a small moment for the Most High. The Most High lives forever. What's 400 years to the Most High when his years are infinite. We're not even going to remember these days. He says, in a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment. But with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, says Yah, thy Redeemer. But this is what Yahweh wants you to know in the 9th verse. This is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I will not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. Most High said the situation we in today this is to him like the waters of Noah. It's something he just looks at and said, just like I made a covenant that will never happen again. He said, I'm making a covenant that this going on with my people, that I'm not going to be mad with my people no more. And we done did some very grievous things. We done did things unthinkable. From sacrificing children to just serving idols, wood and stone. You just take how you going to have the true and living creator that creates you, mount you up, give you gold and jewelry, give you a wife and kids and children, give you a house and vineyards and gardens, give you linens and wood and just the best of everything. And you just look him right in the face and you pick up a rock out of the streams and start chipping it and turning it to a man and say, this is my God. And you start taking the children that Yahweh blessed you with and burning them. This is the kind of stuff that has done went down with our people. Yes, sacrificial offerings of children. And I want to know this. Yahweh's revealed this information that our people done it, and we still doing it today. You might not be doing it physically, but you sacrifice your children when you send them out and let a heathen teach them. These heathens teach your children nothing about the Most High Yah, and when they come home, they don't want nothing to do with the Most High. They don't want to keep none of his commandments. All they want to do is be whores and whoremongers. All they want to do is be thieves and stealers and robbers, and all they want to surround themselves with is vanity. They don't want nothing to do with the Most High. So we done sacrificed them today as well. But he said, this is as the waters of Noah unto me. But let me show you this. Go to the book of Isaiah, the 5th chapter. Because I know that you thought when the Most High told us in Jeremiah 29, verse 5, he said, build ye garden, build ye houses, dwell in it, plant gardens and eat the fruit of it, and take a wife, beget sons and daughters. Take daughters to your sons and give thy daughters to sons, and seek the peace of the city. And I know that you thought that was all about you, but I'm here to tell you that no. This is all about Yah. This is all about his house that he want us to build. This is all about his garden that he want us to plant. This is all about a wife he want us to be one with so he can find the Elohimly seed. And at the end of the day, seeking a piece of the city. Ultimately, that's what Yahweh wants for all cities. He wants peace in all cities. Why do you think that the Most High say Jerusalem shall be the chiefest joy? It shall be your chiefest joy, because what do Jerusalem mean? Jerusalem is the teacher of peace. In Israel, we supposed to be the teacher of peace. Yeru, which is teacher. Shalom or shalom, which is peace. So at the end of the day, this is what it's about for the Most High. Peace with our family. Let me show you what he says in Isaiah, the 5th chapter. the first verse says, now will I sing to my well-beloved a song, my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved have a vineyard and a very fruitful hill. He fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, planted it with choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Yehuda, judge, I pray you, between me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? This be brutally honest with me. Tell me, what more could I do? I done did everything, and it's bringing forth wild grapes. And then the 5th verse says, and now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. Since my vineyard want to just bring forth wild grapes, and I done did everything, I'm Yah. I have wisdom. I know how to raise a garden. I know how to plant a vineyard. But it wanted to bring forth wild grapes. So this is what I would do with my vineyard. I would take away the hedge thereof, which is protection. It's hedge. So people can't get in and destroy the garden. It says, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. Why would Yahweh do this to his garden? It brought forth wild grapes, and now you're just going to take the hedge off of it, and now you're going to let it be trodden and ate. He says in the 6th verse, Isaiah 5 and 6, I will lay it to waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I'm just going to let it go. Take the hedge off of it. Take my protection. I'm just going to let the thing grow weeds and briars and thorns. I'm done with this vineyard. Because it's not giving me for what I'm putting in. He says, listen, I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. Don't even put no rain on this vineyard. And watch what he says in the 7th verse. For the vineyard of Yahweh of hosts is the house of Israel. The men of Yehuda is his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression. Meaning he looked for pleasant grapes, but he got sour grapes. For righteousness, but behold a cry. So Yahweh is letting you know that his vineyard that he's talking about, his vineyard is the house of Israel. That's what the house of Israel is to the Most High. It's his vineyard. And we just read in the book of Isaiah 54, he said the house of Israel, I done took you as a wife. You the wife of my youth. Which means you the first. I ain't married no other nation but you. You are the first nation I've married. You'll read in Jeremiah the 3rd chapter, he said, I am married unto you, O Israel. And in that same chapter, he said, I have engraven thee upon the palms of my hands. So not only the house of Israel is his wife, the house of Israel is his vineyard. And here it is. The Most High asked and said, listen, just be honest with me and tell me what more could I have done to this garden? Well, I'm here to proclaim that Yahweh is righteous and he did everything he was supposed to do. And the ones that jacked everything up wasn't Yahweh. It was the ones that he put the responsibility in their hands to keep the garden, to trust the vineyard and to keep it. Yahweh blessed it, set it all up, and everything is right. But he put it in the man's hands all the way back to Adam. He was supposed to till, dress, and keep this garden. Did he keep it? Did he protect it? No. he failed. He allowed himself to be enticed to go against the very words of Yah. And it wasn't until Eve wanted, she did wrong. But it wasn't until Adam went against the word of the Most High that the Most High came in to reprove them for eating of, because at this point, the matter is established. They done ate from the tree. What could y'all have done more? The Most High put the responsibility in Adam's hand. So at that point, it was his responsibility. And Yahweh's vineyard, his garden. He said the house of Israel is my vineyard. The men of Yehuda is my pleasant garden, pleasant plant. And guess what? This same vineyard is still in the hands of us. Why you think he said build houses, plant your vineyard, take a wife, and beget your sons and daughters, and seek the peace? Because if you don't seek the peace, all your work is for naught. You have to seek the peace at the end of the day. Because if you're not seeking peace, then turmoil and trouble is going to be at your house. Turmoil and trouble is going to be at your wife. Turmoil and trouble is going to be with your sons and your daughters, if you are not seeking the peace. Next thing you know, they got all kind of trouble and you in jail somewhere. And they can't even depend on the one they depending on. Or you dead because you didn't seek the peace. But this vineyard, Yahweh said, this is my vineyard. And this is who the vineyard is. Go with me real quick. Let me show you this. In the book of Ezekiel, 16th chapter. The reason why this subject we dealing with this week, cultural identity, and our cultural identity right now is cursed. That's what we display. But one day our cultural identity is going to be blessed. One day it was. It used to be a day where you just knew who the Israelites was. All you had to do was see, these people are blessed. This must be the children of Israel. But the reason this is so important is because this all goes back to what Yahweh is trying to fulfill. Yahweh is trying to build his house. He's telling us to build a house because this is what Yah is trying to do. He's trying to build a house. He's trying to plant a vineyard. He's trying to take a wife. He's trying to beget sons and daughters and give his daughters to sons and take daughters to his sons. And at the end of the day, all Yahweh wants is peace. This is what Yahweh trying to do. And the only way Yahweh is going to accomplish this is through the ones that he ordained to do it for him. How is Yahweh going to have a house if we won't be his house? A house is a family. How Yahweh going to have a family and we refuse to be his family? Yahweh said not only we his house, we his wife. How Yahweh going to have a wife and we refuse to be his wife? We refuse to sing songs unto him. We refuse to cook for the Most High and make sacrifices to him. We refuse to serve the Most High and give him thanks. How the Most High gonna have sons and daughters and we refuse to be his sons and daughters? Let me show you this in Ezekiel 16 real quick. Ezekiel 16 verse 20. Let me start at verse 19 and then 20. Ezekiel 16 and 19 reads, my meat also which I gave thee, fine flour and oil, honey, wherewith I fed thee, thou hast even set it before them for a sweet savor. You didn't set it before me. You set it before these idols. And thus it was, says Yahweh Elohim. Then he said, moreover, thou hast taken thy sons and thy daughters that I'm the one told you to have. I'm the one that blessed you. He says, let me just keep reading. The 20th verse. Moreover, thou hast taken thy sons, thy daughters, whom thou hast borne unto me, and these hast thou sacrificed unto them to be devoured. Is this of thy whoredoms a small matter? 21st verse. Ezekiel 16 verse 21. That thou hast slain my children and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them? And in all thine abominations, thy whoredoms, thou hast not even remembered the days of your youth. The Most High said, these is my sons and daughters. This is my children. That's why you got to know. And when you talk about these sons and daughters, you ain't just talking about any sons and daughters. These sons and daughters that Yahweh talking about is his vineyard. And when a man get a vineyard and you invest yourself in that vineyard, and that vineyard become a part of your life, all you gotta do is go to California and find one of them men that got vineyards out there. And you go through their vineyard with a car just driving reckless, you just mess that vineyard up. They gonna hop up out of that house as if you done killed one of their children. Because they've been raising that vineyard. They've been feeding and taking care of that vineyard. They ain't playing around with that vineyard, because you know why? That vineyard is also taking care of them. And it's also taking care of his family. He ain't playing around with that vineyard. Yahweh not playing around with his. That's why he said, man, this vineyard, at this point, this is what I'm got to do. I got to make some real serious decisions. Not only is his vineyard, these children, the house of Israel. He said the house of Israel is my vineyard. But the house of Israel is not just his vineyard. The Most High said the house of Israel is his firstborn son. You'll read that in the book of Exodus, the 4th chapter, verse 22. This is how you know when the Most High said, build ye houses, plant this garden, take his wife, and have these sons and daughters. This was bigger than us. This is fulfilling. This is a man fulfilling the very purpose that the Yahweh put him on the earth for. But the Most High said, listen, Israel, that you got in your hands, you got my vineyard in your hands. You also got my firstborn son in your hands. And man, just look at a man. A man don't play around with his firstborn son. This is how you know that the responsibility, not just man, but the Israelite man has, is the most important responsibility. He has the firstborn son of Yahweh in his hands. Every son and daughter that you have, Yahweh considered that his vineyard. Every son and daughter that you have, Yahweh considered that his firstborn. Every son and daughter that you have, Yahweh considered that his wife. Play with a man's wife. Play with a man's a real man that love his wife. Play with her. Love his vineyard. Play with it. Love his firstborn son that look like me. Look at Abraham when he told Yah, you done gave me everything, but I don't even have a son. Then Yahweh finally gave him a son. Play with him. Firstborn son, the Most High is not playing. You got a great responsibility in your hands. The Most High said we not only his vineyard, his firstborn son, his house. Because yes, the Most High said we are his house. He said he will dwell in the midst of Israel forever. He will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem forever. But the Most High also says this about us. If you go to the book of Isaiah 43. This is how you know. When we talking about this subject, we talking about there's nothing more important than the subject. And before, just hold your page there. Let me prove it to you with this verse right here. This is going to prove it to you. There's nothing more important than this. If you go to Deuteronomy, the 10th chapter, and you know it's nothing more important than this because it's nothing more important than Yahweh. If you think there's something more important than Yah, I don't even want to speak on you. It takes me down to a negative lane. There's nothing more important than Yah. And when you say, well, Yah is the most important, then that which he says is the most important, that's what's most important. When he said, man, this is the chiefest thing that I desire, well, you know what? It better be the chiefest thing you desire. Look what the Most High said in Deuteronomy, the 10th chapter. The 12th verse says, listen, now Israel, what does Yahweh your Elohim, your power, require of thee, but to fear Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in his ways, to love him, to serve Yahweh thy Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, to keep the commandments of Yahweh, his statutes, which I command thee this day for your good. But behold this, look what the 14th verse says. Behold, which means to look, pay attention. Behold the heavens, go ahead and look at it. And then the heaven of heaven, which you can't even see that is Yahweh's thy Elohim. That belongs to him. He created it. The earth, behold the earth also, with all that therein is. And I know a lot of us can't see the earth. Just get you a few magazines, watch some geographical channels, or just look at the earth. What the earth has to offer, all that therein is. Well, look at the 15th verse. Out of the heavens, the heaven of the heavens, and out of the earth and all that therein is, only Yahweh had a delight in your fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them. And yes, we are seeds. We are the vineyard. We the plants of Yah. And a plant starts from a seed. And we are his seed from his garden. He says he chose their seed after them, even you above all people as it is this day. You mean to tell me the Most High done chose a people above all people as it is this day? Yes. He said, this is my delight. This is what I chose. For time's sake, you can look it up. You don't have to take my word. The Most High said, out of everything, this is his inheritance. My inheritance is my people. That's what Yahweh said. I made the earth, and I let other people dwell in it, and you can have this, and you can have that. All I want is my people. That's my inheritance. And his people to him is his vineyard. His people to him is his house. Look what the Most High said in Isaiah. Let's go back to Isaiah real quick. And then we're going to go to even show you further how important this house that we're talking about, this family we're talking about, this wife and these sons and daughters we're talking about, how important it is. And if we don't set our hearts to it, to get to really what Yahweh wants us to do with this house and this family, we doomed. Isaiah 65. And excuse me, go one chapter forward to Isaiah 66. And it says in the first verse, thus says Yahweh, the heaven is my throne, The earth is my footstool. But where is the house that you build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? For all these things my hands has made, and all those things have been, says Yah. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor of a contrite spirit and trembleth at my word.
90 seconds.
The Most High is looking and said, where is my house? Meaning, where my family that you're supposed to be them built to me? Where is my resting place? Because there's only one place Yahweh is trying to rest, and that's in the midst of his family. That's only one place he's trying to dwell, and that's in the midst of his family. And the ones that he gave the responsibility of this family, in this house, in this vineyard, these sons and daughters,
seconds.
The ones he gave the responsibility to the wife was the man all the way from the beginning. It was always in his hands. And from the beginning, he jacked up. He messed up. And all the way to this day, we still messed up. We still jacked up. It's the man's fault. And we still to this day won't man up to our responsibility, won't accept our mistakes and errors, and will blame the Most High, and we will blame the woman, and we will blame everybody. Instead of looking in the mirror. Look what it says in the book of Yoel. Go to the book of Yoel.
10 seconds.
The book of Yoel. And it says in the first chapter, the 11th verse. And I'm going to start at the 10th verse. It says, the field is wasted. The land mourneth, for the corn is wasted. Yeah, the garden, the vine is wasted. The new wine is dried up. The oil languishes. Because the one that was supposed to till and keep the land and dress it and keep it, make sure everything was straight, he didn't. So in the 11th verse he says, be ye ashamed, O ye husbandmen. How, O ye vine dressers, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field is perished. The vine is dried up. The fig tree languishes. The pomegranate tree, the palm tree also, the apple tree, even all the trees of the field are withered. Because joy is withered away from the sons of men. Joy is withered away. And the joy is withered away because we haven't invested ourselves in the purpose of our existence. The Most High wants us to serve him. He wants our house to be his house. He said, why you think the Most High said in Psalms 127, except Yahweh build the house, they that build it labor in vain. He wants our houses to be his house. He wants our sons and daughters to be his sons and daughters. And even our wives is his wife. We all Yahweh's wives. And it's our responsibility to do what we're supposed to do with our wives so Yahweh can reap the blessings. And of course, you reap them as well. You bask in the joy and the happiness as well. Ain't nothing more beautiful. And I know from experience because I have a firstborn son. His name is YIsraEL. And I'm astonished every day when I look at this young fellow. This young man that I know he belongs to the Most High Yah. And I want to do everything in my power to raise this seed, this plant, this young man. Because I know what Yahweh said about him. He is Yahweh's. He's Yahweh's plant. He's Yahweh's wife. He's Yahweh's firstborn son. He's Yahweh's vineyard. He's Yahweh's house. I'm not trying to play around with it. And if I fail at raising the seed the way Yahweh want me to, I done failed my whole purpose on this earth. Now I'm just totally useless as a man. And so this is why the Most High told us in the book of Malachi. If you go to the book of Malachi, the 4th chapter, Israel is everything to the Most High. This house of Israel. And I wanted to show you all that today. If you tune in tomorrow on the Shabbat day, I'm going to finish up on scriptures that I didn't get to today, because I have to show you what Israel is to the Most High, what this family and this purpose and what this thing is really about. But if in Malachi, the 4th chapter, the Most High says in the first verse, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. All the proud, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. That day that cometh shall burn them up, says Yah of hosts, and it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. Ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall." And yes, because the Most High not only called Israel his wife, his firstborn son, his vineyard, his house, he also called us his flock. Because that's everything a man supposed to have. Yahweh said, "I created man in my image and likeness." So everything we supposed to have, that's what Yahweh has. That's what he's supposed to have. And actually, he has it. It's already in the workings and the makings and the blueprints in the future. Yahweh has his house, his family, his sons and daughters, his vineyard, his flocks. It's all established. Now, are you going to be a part of it, of this house, or not? Are you going to be part of this vineyard or not? Are you going to be a part of this flock or not? Are you going to be Yahweh's wife or not? Because when you become a part of Yahweh's house, you become everything to Yah. Everything, his flock, everything. Let me skip on down for time's sake. The 4th verse says, "Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb, for all Israel." This one for everybody. This was for Israel. "With the statutes and judgments. For behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming and great and dreadful day of Yah. He shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." And yes, the Most High smit the earth with a curse a long time ago, during the time of Noah. But he promised he would never flood the earth again by a flood and waters. Therefore, he gave us a token of his covenant, which is the rainbow. And every time we see that, we can remember that Yahweh, although it might rain and pour, he's not going to flood the whole earth. But the Most High said, listen, I still got fire. I still got ice. I still got snow. I still got whirlwinds and hurricanes. If the fathers don't get their mind and put the children as their priority, meaning their house, their family, their vineyard, that's what our children are to us. That's what the family and the wife, this is your everything. And if you don't start getting your mind to it, all it takes is one house at a time, one little family at a time, to stand in the gap. But if Yahweh look and see it, there is no families. There is no houses. Well, therefore, what's the purpose of man even being on the earth then? Most High put man on the earth to multiply and be fruitful. and prosper. But there is no prosper without the Most High. And all you got to do is look outside and see. The prosper on the low end is wicked. Well, on the low end, there is no prosper, but it's wicked. But when you see prosper, it's wicked. All these big billion-dollar food companies, they doing wickedness that you couldn't even fathom. The kind of food they selling people, a normal person on the streets smoking crack and drinking wine wouldn't even sell this kind of stuff to people. The lowest man walking on the streets wouldn't even do what this rich billion-dollar man is doing. He wouldn't even fathom to think to do what he's doing to people. But I'm past my time. I just want to say in closing that the Most High want us to get serious, O Israel, about our families. Why is our family so broken? We have to turn back to the way of Yah. We have to turn back to the culture of being blessed. And it's only one way to do it. You have to be faithful to Yahweh's business. And that's building a house and planting a garden. Having a wife and sons and daughters and putting all your works and energy into that. Raising them right. Teaching them. And we're going to show you that the Most High has water, a specific water you're supposed to give your garden. And I ain't talking about just the water from the clouds and the rivers. Most High has a water that he wants you to give to this garden. And we're going to show you that. But with that being said, I just want to praise Yah, for he's my father. I'm his son, his garden, vineyard. And just as much as I'm his everything, he's my everything. And Yahweh loves you. I love you. Shalom, shalom. Hallelujah.
To you, my Yah, do I lift up my soul. And trust in you, he always kept me whole.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.